Good evening. So we've heard from the President during the January the 8th statement, and then he gave an address at the mining in Indaba, obviously trying to give investors the feel that policy is going into a certainty direction. But of course, this is an election year, and we've got the State of the Nation address tomorrow. Business will obviously be watching out for this perceived incoherence in policy. How do you see it?
So I think obviously one of the things that we're expecting to come from the Sona speech is some clear direction in some of the key areas of policy where there are challenges. So we are certainly hoping that issues such as land policy, health policy, and in particular energy policy are going to be quite strongly addressed in terms of what is going to happen during the course of the next year and what is planned. Now, we know that's obviously difficult in an election year, but I think that's certainly what businesses are looking for. They want to have certainty in terms of what's going to happen to Eskom. I think business is very concerned about the power supply, and you saw that reflected in the SACCI business confidence figures. And if business is confident, then obviously there's a very strong correlation between that and investment. So it's very important.
Let's talk about Eskom. I mean, tomorrow we are likely to see how this plan or perceived plan of unbundling this power utility is likely to play out. And as you correctly say, businesses having security in terms of power supply is up there. What are you likely to hear tomorrow, you think, and what would you want to hear in terms of its unbundling?
So I think on three levels we want to have reassurance that Eskom is going to be supported in a way that they can manage their debt, because we know that it's currently unsustainable. We want to see that the operations are going to be improved and that there's going to be a solid focus in terms of how to ensure an ongoing power supply. And I think we want to see what steps are going to be taken to make sure that Eskom is sustainable in the long run and that it's a model that actually is suitable for South Africa into the future.
As far as corruption is concerned, Tanya, so we've seen investors speak a lot about this, and if you look at the various commissions and inquiries underway at the moment, yes, it certainly does underscore that something has been done on part of government. But I would imagine that business would say, well, unless we see consequences, unless we see punitive measures, very little can be done to boost our confidence, at least in that regard.
Absolutely. I think we hosted our Business Economic in Indaba last week, and one of the clear, strong messages that was coming from businesses is that they want to see those consequences. They want to see the prosecutions taking place. I think with the new head of prosecutions in place on the NPA, that's a very positive sign, and we're certainly hoping that there is going to be action taken. I think we don't underestimate how long these cases take, but we do want to see consequences both for those that were involved in the public sector as well as the private sector. And setting the tone in this regard is really important, because as we go into the elections, I think it gives us further confidence that there's going to be free and fair elections and that there's going to be due process followed.
Do you get a sense that perhaps tomorrow we'll get something firmer on the implementation side? Because we've heard a lot of ideas coming out of these addresses in the past.
Yeah, so I think that's certainly something that we are hoping for. We know that the first year was very much a year of summits. We hope that we're going to see some early successes in terms of the investment conference and in terms of the job summit. But I think what we're really looking for from a business community perspective is action and plans that are tangible and that are pragmatic and that actually can be delivered.
All right, thanks very much indeed. Tanya Cohen, CEO of Business Unity South Africa.